Welcome to Passion and Profit. If you're a small business owner or solo entrepreneur, this episode is for you. It would not only help you achieve your business goals, but it will also help you enjoy the process. Let's get started.
The user experience, like the design, the copy, and the SEO also, which a lot of that goes into creating like the overall look, feel of the website. But you want to see what words are your customers using to find your product. What are they searching for? How can you use those keywords, those phrases, so that people are actually finding your store and shopping with you?
Passion and Profit with your host, Delmith Morales, the podcast for makers and manufacturers. Welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Delmith. This podcast is created by Inventora, the all-in-one inventory system for makers and manufacturers. Today, we are going to be talking about how to increase sales through a Shopify store with Diana Simpson. Diana is the founder of Simpson's Web Design. She specializes in delivering high-converting websites that are unique to brands. So I think your experience, Diana, is going to be very helpful for us. A lot of makers are listening to this podcast, so I know that it is going to be a good one for today. So please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background and what you do.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and to just kind of give a background of how I got started and what I do. I started my business in April 2021. I kind of just started because I became a new mom in 2020, and I really needed something that would keep me home while also helping my family with, finances and things like that. And also something that I love doing, which I've always been passionate about, design and tech. And that's what led me to start my business as a Shopify web designer. And I have been working with e-commerce businesses for a little while, and I really love helping them uncover what's different about their brand, how to position them into the marketplace so that their products actually, stand out and they get the sales that they're looking for. And I love using Shopify because it's so easy to use in the back end. And it's really just a e-commerce platform overall. And I know Inventora integrates really easily with Shopify. So yeah, that's a little bit of what I do. I live in Georgia here in the States, so hence my little country accent.
No, that's amazing. I know that a lot of people use Shopify as their e-commerce platform. I know it's very popular. And sometimes when you start a business, you don't believe in the importance of having a good website for your brand. And honestly, sometimes we know it's important, but we don't know how to do it. So I'm really curious about what you do, the things that are key for them to have in their website design to increase their sales and get more traffic. That I think nowadays it's a challenge because you have a lot of competition out there and tons of products, tons of options, and people are trying to get just the best fit for them. So how can we make that happen for our business to be like the perfect fit for them?
Yeah, so I really like to look at it as there is a spot for everyone, product-based business owners, makers, in the marketplace. But what's really going to help you stand out is to really share your story, which a lot of times we can ask ourselves, like, I don't really have much of a story. Like, I don't really know what's different about my brand. But then it also kind of pushes you to look and see what's different about your brand that maybe other brands don't have, whether it's the mission that drives the brand, or it's, a different way of using the product that other, brands aren't doing. Really asking deeper questions about the uniqueness of your brand and how to position it. And then from there, drives the brand identity and creating the Shopify store. And then when it comes to actually creating the Shopify store, you want to really think about your customers. The number one thing is keeping your customers in mind. Because if you're thinking about, well, I don't really like how this looks because, I don't like the colors, as a business owner. But instead of looking at it that way, think about what, what things your customers are going to be doing on the website and how can you make it easier so that they don't have to do all these extra steps to reach to checkout. Um, so that's one thing that I like to look at, which for me, I always like to say strategy is the number one thing before starting your Shopify store. Um, so really creating that plan as to what are your goals for the business, not only for like sales, but also for like brand awareness. Do you want to introduce your brand to more of a larger audience? How do you want to do that? And like I said, it all goes back to asking these deeper questions and getting clear about them, and then making the plan and finally creating the Shopify store so that people can buy your products.
Perfect. I think that's the key part. Even if you are not planning to have an e-commerce platform right now, just if you are attending events or going out there and selling by yourself, I think you need to have those goals already in mind so you can know what to offer, right? And the direction of your business. So, what can they do after they are ready with that? What's the next step?
Right. So after you have your goals down, after you have the plan down, then you really start diving into the overall navigation of the website. I feel like I may be going a little technical here, but uh, it kind of goes into simplifying the navigation, simplifying the website to the least steps to check out. So if your navigation is cluttered with all these different pages and the main goal is to get people to shop, you would want to go back, revisit, and see what are your best sellers, like what products are selling the most, and then adding it to your navigation, maybe even like under categories instead of just having like all the products on the navigation. Creating like categories for the products so that people can easily find them and check them out, and then add them to cart. And then the next thing would be the user experience, like the design, the copy, and the SEO also, which a lot of that goes into creating like the overall look, feel of the website. But you want to see what words are your customers using to find your product. What are they searching for? How can you use those keywords, those phrases, so that people are actually finding your store and shopping with you? Um, which that kind of goes into a little bit of SEO. Um, but you want to have like these things in place so that your Shopify store is actually working for you, and you're actually getting the best results, whether uh, instead of just building the website hoping for someone to find it, but you haven't really put a lot of thought into it, a lot of work into it. You really want to nail these things down: the navigation, the SEO, the copy, the imagery, so that the Shopify store actually works. And one key way to do this, to find out what your customers are actually looking for, and is your Shopify store really going to resonate with them, is doing a little bit of like market research. So looking at what some competitors are doing, what are the phrases that they are using? Is your product similar to that? How can you stand out with maybe using something different, another type of way to describe your product, positioning your story to really drive the message of your product. And maybe even asking some questions to people like, in the marketplace and seeing what they loved about this certain product. But yeah, doing the research will really help you start nailing down the navigation and all the other like elements of the website.
That makes sense. I think doing that research is key for you to understand what you need to do, correct? So now let's think about that. I know that this probably happens to all of us in any stage of our business. What happens if we have low traffic and we don't have a good conversion rate? What are the three steps that we need to take action in order to increase conversions and traffic?
Yeah, so obviously if you have low traffic, that's one problem, and then if you have a low conversion rate, that's like another problem in itself, although you could have, both at the same time. But if you're having low traffic and you're simply not getting enough people on your store, then you have a marketing problem versus the website itself may be working, but you're not really getting enough people to the website. So you really need to focus your marketing efforts. And that can look like, in the terms of like content creation. So if you want to be showing up on social media, finding ways that you can stand out on social media, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, or whatnot. And then also going back to SEO, can you optimize your website so that people are finding it through SEO, like through Google searches? Because this way you're actually getting more traffic to the site. And one great way to do this is through blog posts. Really nailing down the SEO in form of like blog posts and driving people to the actual store. Um, and I think a lot of people don't really like blogging sometimes because they think that it's, really time consuming. They don't want to spend their time there. But one great thing about blogging is that whatever blog post you create, you can then take that blog post and like repurpose it into social media content to your email list. And then this is also driving traffic to your store. Like you're already doing the big work and creating the big, blog post and then repurposing it. Um, but then also looking at the target audience. So if you're really not sure about who your product is for, that would be one thing to address first before you like dive into the marketing part. Because if you don't know specifically who would buy your product, then you're going to have a hard time marketing the product because you're going to want to sell it to everybody. And it's just simply not going to, work. You're going to be like always shifting gears on your content, always trying to write, if you're writing blog posts about something different. So kind of like going back to the research, kind of really honing in on your target audience. Like for example, if you have a clothing boutique, maybe you're really focusing on like women, or like young women or young mothers. Really kind of seeing what kind of styles you can pinpoint, how to target, these women to get them to come to your store. And then once you have the traffic problem down, like you're getting, 1,000 visitors a week, you're really hitting that traffic rate. Then you can start noticing, okay, well, how many of these people that are actually coming to the site are actually buying from me? So if you see that 1,000 people are coming to the site, but you're only getting like, 10 people out of that 1,000 that are coming to the site, then, maybe you can see how can I bump it up to 20 people, increasing your conversion rate. So then that would have to be with your website. Like maybe they're dropping off somewhere that's maybe confusing, or they're not really resonating with the copy or the product, and really honing in on how can you make it easier for your customers to find what they're looking for. And instead of having like all these steps to where they click on the product and like, add to cart, how can you instead add, even a button on the homepage like add to cart now or buy now, things like that. And one of the tools that I like to use to kind of see what's working on the website and what's not is Hotjar. It's an app that you can install on the Shopify store, and it kind of gives you a recording of what people are doing on the website. It's like a real time recording of, are they hovering on this space, clicking this button, and that kind of really allows you to like see what's working on the website and then optimize the website for conversions. But those would be the key points there to, one, drive traffic, and then two, actually make the website work for you to drive conversions.
Perfect. I know that SEO is a very key point of having e-commerce platforms, but how often should we revisit like our SEO? How do we have to do it daily, or do we have to do it monthly? What do you recommend?
I typically recommend, SEO is found both in like the copy of all your pages and in the blog posts. Um, so what I like to personally do is, when you're writing a blog post, you're using SEO. So you're coming up with the keywords to use on the blog post. Um, so kind of revisiting, seeing like maybe I can do something different, like use different keyword. Um, what's trending, what's not. And as for the website, to update the website and then like updating the SEO, I would say at least once a month, kind of seeing, revisiting your Shopify store and seeing what can you change, like in the copy or the hero image, the header image, to kind of show that there's, movement going on, that you're updating products, you're having sales, things to keep your customers interested. And it also helps for SEO if, the sale or the topic is relevant. So yeah, I would say like once a month, revisit your website and see what you can update, what you can change around, what needs to be edited, and things like that. And then you can also look at your analytics on Shopify and see, where are people coming from? Are they coming from social media or Google searches? And kind of maximize your efforts if more people are coming through, Google searches. Like, okay, well, maybe I need to see if I can do a little bit more blog posts that way. Um, and vice versa. If they're coming from Instagram, how can I keep more people coming to the store if they're coming from Instagram? But I always say the numbers and like data always, tells you what's going on, and you should really be looking at the data and the numbers so that you are actually making the changes that need to be made instead of just like guessing. That way you kind of save yourself some headache and some time and effort. But that would be some tips that I would give your audience here.
Awesome. Yes, I'm a truly believer that our customers are key to make changes in our shop, whether it's in the product or our website or even our brand identity. It's very important for us to hear what they're saying about us. Also, what are they, if they are really engaging, what are they saying about us? Because honestly, that's the main source of feedback that we're going to have our customers, right? And they're going to be sharing your brand, if they really like it, they are going to be the best way to market yourself. So I think that's a great tip for you to say, that to listen to them, see how are they engaging with us, and what can we do to improve it, right? Because if we don't do, for example, with blog posts, we do this with Inventora a while back, and we know that if you just do one and then you leave it there and you don't do any other blog post again until 6 months later, people are not gonna know that you're actually creating content for them, right? So I think it's important also, like you mentioned, to share it in our social media and share it in an email, because right now email marketing is also a great resource for everyone to take advantage of it. But I think that's also key for us to grow our business and to get more traffic and conversions. Now that we already talk about the more like the technical stuffs to do, let's talk about how can we start getting our Shopify store ready for this last quarter of the year.
Yeah, that's a really great question, especially that, we're in Q4 and the sales are ramping up. I feel like this time of the year is really busy for product-based businesses because people are looking for, presents for the holidays and gifts and all the stuff for, the holidays are coming up. So some of the things that you can look at when you're getting ready for Black Friday, or for if you're having any sales before then, is to really also look at what's going to be trending. Like if you can take a look at, Pinterest is a good way to kind of do some research and see what people are searching for. And if you have a product or your products are similar to what they're looking for, how can you position that so that people are actually looking at your product? And then also looking at what performed well during, Q1, Q2, and Q3, and to see if it's relevant for the holidays, and how can you kind of mix it up to um, keep keep it as a hero product, so that you're not like thinking that you have to make more products or create more products, because most of the times you don't have to create more products for, the holidays. You can kind of keep with the same product or products that you have been selling and that have been selling good. Just kind of use it in a different way, position it in a different way. Um, so that people know, like, hey, this is an added benefit of this product. It can be used, during the holidays, or it's a great gift for your loved ones during the holidays. And that also kind of goes back to the SEO part. So, people are going to be searching for gift giving for 2023. Like, update your product descriptions, so that it reflects that. Update your product pages so that it's relevant to what people are searching for. And if you have some new pictures of your products, like product images, now would be a great time to update those. And yeah, just kind of start seeing what you can do to really start driving, sales before, November gets here, because a lot of times people will want to wait until November, and like you kind of want to prep and get ready and like get started, then wait till the last minute. Um, just because, like you said, there's a lot of people out in the marketplace. So you want to kind of have a start now that you can, instead of waiting till later. But yeah, I would definitely recommend getting started, just looking at your website right now, what needs to be updated, what can be updated, and starting on the changes right now.
Absolutely. At the beginning, I always thought about like people are already prepping for holidays, for the holiday season in the summer. I was like, wait, no, that's too crazy. But now that I think about it, You need to prep your, if you're making, for example, new products for the season, you need to build all the content, the photo shoots. There are tons of things that are involved that honestly, that's a great advice just to start now. Well, right now we have the holidays around the corner, and honestly, it's very wise for you to start prepping and don't leave your e-commerce shop for the last thing. I think it's something that you really need to take time to do it because it's time consuming as well. It's going to take time to figure out what you need to make, what you need to change. And if you do it right now, it's going to be successful. And I'm curious, I know that you work with a lot of businesses that want to improve their e commerce platform in Shopify. What are some mistakes that you have seen that they are like doing instead of the things that are they really need to do?
Yeah, so some of the things that I have seen across the board is, when they DIY, we all start somewhere. So they kind of just start off with picking any stock images that may not be related to the product, that are kind of, not really speaking to their audience. And then to make matters worse is like the description on the homepage is kind of like very vague. It doesn't really tell you what the product is about, who it's for, and doesn't really make someone want to, click shop now and check out the other products. So the homepage would be one of the biggest missing marks. Like they're missing out on people actually staying and shopping on the website because the homepage is kind of like confusing, hard to navigate. Like I said, the hero image isn't really speaking to the audience that they want to be speaking to, and then a lot of times also they're probably selling like all the products and not really taking into consideration what's really selling and what's not. Um, so looking at the numbers and seeing what product is actually selling and then positioning that product on the homepage, like, one of the best sellers, things like that, so that people start buying more of that and therefore increasing their sales that way. And another thing would be that has to do with like email marketing is they sometimes will put like sign up to the newsletter and that's it. Like they don't really have an incentive as like, hey, find out what your skin quiz is like, have a quiz for the product that you're selling. Like that will definitely get people interested because it's more custom to them. It feels like it's personalized. It feels like you're really taking the time to know them. And so therefore they're more like willing to give you their email address because they want to know what products will work for their skin, and things like that. That's just an example. Versus just saying sign up for my newsletter and like leaving it at that. Like there's so many newsletters now with, all the businesses out there. Like you really want to be creative with how you're getting people to actually sign up to your email list without making it seem like it's a, tedious task. Like they don't want to give you their email address. So getting creative with that and also showing up on their inbox regularly, because sometimes people will sign up to the email list, the newsletter or whatever, and then they may get like a welcome email and that's it, like a discount code or whatever. And like they don't ever hear from you again. They don't ever, know about your brand again. And I think that's a really missed opportunity because you're not staying on top of mind. You're not, hitting the touch points so that they remember you, they know what your product is, and then they come back and shop with you. Because that's really the main goal of an email list is to nurture your audience when they're not ready to buy. So if you're kind of just creating one email and not ever sending out any emails to your email list, yeah, that's like a big mistake that I see, and that businesses can be taken advantage of. And another thing I would say would be like going back to the product page, kind of having all the information up front and not really giving them like one thing to look at in the beginning so that they can like take that in and know like, yes, this product is for me, or no, the product isn't for me. And then adding on to that, like the product description, um, and not using generic descriptions that, the wholesaler or um, the merchant you bought it from or whatever is using. So really making it more unique, both in like the copy and all of that. And yeah, I think all of this goes back to a personal experience. Like, how can you give them a personalized experience, so that they actually remember you, like they remember your brand? And this way you're creating like fans instead of just customers, and then they refer other friends to your shop, and this is the way that you grow your business. But yeah, I would definitely say give them a personalized experience on your Shopify store.
Absolutely. For me, the giving more than just the product is the key for success. You have to give experience. You have to make them feel that personal touch in everything that you add to your website, to your emails, to your content, for them to start engaging more. Because if, like you said, if it's generic, they're gonna say, well, this is not something that I'm looking for, or well, I can find this cheaper in another store because it's nothing different or it's not unique. So giving them an experience once they get into your website and until they purchase something from you, I think that's the key for success. So thank you so much, Diana. I think all the information that you gave us today, it's really helpful. I think that we are going to apply it. We need to apply it in our businesses. So I think my last question, well, it's not a question, but if you can tell people how they can find you and how they can contact you as well.
Yeah, you can usually find me on Instagram. I hang out on Instagram a lot. So my account is Simpsons_webdesign. And I also have my website, simpsonswebdesign.com. You can find some resources on there and check out, everything about my business and how I help my clients. But yeah, there's also a freebie on there if you want to check it out.
Amazing. Thank you so much. There you have, everyone, my conversation with Diana. Go check out Diana and her business in the link of the show notes. I hope you find this episode helpful. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a follow, and if you liked this episode, please share it with your friends. Thank you for being here, and until next time. And if you're interested to learn more about Inventora to help you keep track of your e-commerce sales and more, visit Inventora.com.